let's go. So if you're new to this kind of video, or you're not, first of all, welcome back. I had a bit of wobble of confidence and a bit of burnout, but now I've decided I want to come back to this style. Why? Because without blowing my own trumpet, I think I'm pretty good at it. Now, some ground rules before we get balls deep into this thing. We will cover each of these figures from Wave 1 of Legacy United. I will not be touching on ones that were repacks or that I didn't otherwise get. And about the halfway mark, we'll stop for a quick comfort break so you guys can like and subscribe. Does that sound good to you? Because I think that sounds pretty good to me. Also, sorry if there's any lighting inconsistencies during this video. This is my first sitting down recording one of these in about 6-7 months, and it's really fucking warm out. And I just want to get on with it while the spark of motivation is here. So I propose we start with the smallest, beginning with Core Class Energon Megatron in over 60 seconds, let's go. Now for the uninitiated, I never really committed much stock in the Core Class. It was purely mainly because I didn't see the value of it for what I was actually receiving. But In Demand had this guy on sale for £2, and I'm not an idiot. I'm not overly familiar with the original Energon Megatron design, but I'm familiar enough to know that this is some sort of jet, space jet, Star Wars things that also look like a Star Trek. And the front of the ship happens to look like a very goofy burb. The top of this features an accessory that looks a bit like a tank, so I'm not sure if this was supposed to be a triple changer. Again, I haven't really familiarized myself with Energon all that much. Mostly because it's colours and paint applications galore, they're pretty good, I can't complain about them. However, the fact that this thing could not fly in the first place, I am going to complain about. Flying thing bad. Of course, I'm willing to bet that the nominal position of these wings is supposed to be this, but come on, that's not gonna fly either. Your Auntie Bertha's more likely to fly after a few drinks at the Christmas party, and she's got more under those wings than most men dare to know. What in the retool bullshit is this? Are we really to consume yet another retool of Kingdom Galvatron? Well, no, actually. Although I think such a retool has a recipe to go hard as fuck, like an uncooked block of super noodles. Get in me. No, but as is well known at this point, this particular iteration of Megatron did look a lot like Galvatron. For reasons. There was also a Galvatron repaint of this guy with like purple and yellows. He looked nice, but he wasn't $2.99, so I'm not getting it. In this mode, his accessories must parts form because Joe Hasbro hates that particular part of the community. And without it, we get the articulation of a middle-aged man who's had an accident getting out of bed in the morning. I wish I was kidding, the arms literally stretch out that far. God, sucks to suck. I mean, a key criteria I always want out of a figure is, can it get down on one knee? No, not like that, I'm already married. But instead, just for assuming this sort of pose, you know, it's very symbolic. And this one can do that quite easily, so he gets points for that. Also, ball-jointed elbows are just such an absurd thing to still see. Like, I know we're working at such a micro scale that the weaponizer format with all the combat system, that's what it's called, that none of that really matters at this level, but it's still strange just to see ball-jointed elbows and stuff like that in this day and age. I wish I had more to say about this Megatron. You can see his paint applications are nice when they're there, and that from the back he could possibly pass for a Buzz Lightyear tribute. Yeah, that's it. I haven't got much more to say about him. He was a really fun... Get around here. He was a really fun novelty that I bought for cheap. What I also bought a 2-pack that we'll get to later in the series. Also the fact that in a line that's dedicated to touching all arms of the franchise, that this is the only Energon representation we've gotten. Honestly, fair fuck Energon. Animated Bumblebee in over 60 seconds, let's go. This figure is one that I have a lot of mixed feelings on. But starting with alt mode critiques, this thing really doesn't like to tab together in any secure way. I've currently got all 4 wheels touching the ground, but you can see a very unsightly gap between the door and the front. If I then take the time to try and line that up properly, you'll see that it just untabs the front of the car. My entire life is in irredeemable shambles at this information, but I prefer the front of the car to look good, so that's what we're going with today. He's mostly cast in this really nice yellow plastic with some black paint just to break things up, recreating the stripe very faithfully. I like how shiny this guy actually is. If there's anything that I think animated did fucking wonderfully, it was its color palettes on its characters. He comes with his siren, which he's always had in every iteration of this particular design. It's transparent red plastic, so it makes a really nice light piping effect, as if the siren is actually going. Wee woo, criminal scum. He also comes with weapon storage in this mode, which comes in the form of attaching these transparent rocket accessories, which we'll get to shortly, to the sides of the vehicle to recreate booster tech. Well, hey. And you can see without it, he fairly reasonably captures the proportions of the animated Bumblebee design. A dinky little hatchback looking thing that's probably designed as the sidestep around the Volkswagen alt mode, like they did this for Classics, Universe, Generations, Animated. Well, that's pretty much it, I suppose, so I guess I've got nothing else to add here. Just a shame they couldn't get any painted detailing on the back. Like, I feel like you could have done something. But for now, I'm going to be the one that does something by comparing him to a figure that everybody owns. Although from the front is probably a better approach to that comparison. As you can see, Bumblebee is quite small for a deluxe. But you ain't seen fucking nothing yet. Also, this is just an honourable mention, but no mushroom pegs on the wheels. Thanks, Joe. I really appreciate that. This Bumblebee is the fastest thing on wheels, but right now he's not on wheels. Poor animated Bee Walker here has a very uphill battle compared to some of his other contemporaries. He isn't the best Bumblebee we got this year, he isn't the best deluxe we got this year, and he isn't the best animated figure that we've gotten since the little revival. But what does he have going for him? I mean, honestly, I'd say he's got a relatively clean profile going on for him, and that's good enough. Except it isn't. While he's got some pretty good stompers that can keep him up, imposability in his legs so you can make lots of fast as fuckboy references. Let's be fair, animated Bee would be a fuckboy. This animated Bumblebee instead suffers from a very rare medical condition in his shoulders that I happen to call funky as fuck shoulder syndrome. Well, what the fuck is this really? Why is it so forward? Fucking thing didn't even buy me a drink first. But outside of that, they've got a good display of motion, and I particularly like how the head sculpt has the molded gap in the back so you can make him look up, which is what this guy is going to spend most of his time doing. I think this is one of the smallest deluxes we've had in a fucking age. Also bringing it back to accessories, which actually separate to form different accessories. Observe. He comes with a thing from an episode where he did that thing cast in smoky clear grey, and I really like the way it looks. I mean, these are just fun accessories anyway. You can take them home, you can share them with friends, you can fucking throw them in a river with a car battery, you can do whatever you want with them. Why, you could make lots more fast as fuckboy references. Sadly, not large enough to be blast effect compatible, however. I'll let the orphans know they'll be coping and seething for days after this. Also, I just want to give them a quick props for the fact that the colour matching on the chest is actually pretty good. You normally absolutely fuck the pooch on yellow, so I'm proud of you this time, Joe. Good job. He also comes with thing he did a lot of different times, so you can do thing as well. Also not blast effect compatible. Probably, I haven't checked. Okay, as it turns out they are, but that's not supposed to happen. It's just a shame that from no angle do they look good separately. Well, apart from maybe this one. I don't know, I think the key thing with this Bumblebee is, as I said, it's the weakest of the animated bunch, and it's not exactly the best of any particular bunch. He's still good, don't get me wrong. I could very much see him being someone's favourite in the long run, but for me, he just doesn't quite scratch the itch the same way as Optimus, coming soon, and Prowl, follow the card, did. Also, somehow he looks better in green. Fucking work that one out. Cyberverse Windblade in over 60 seconds. Let's go. Without getting too far ahead of myself, I'm glad they finally made a Windblade that's good. No, you're right, that's too controversial to open with. I'm glad they finally made a Windblade. No, that's too broad. Woman. Perfect. I know very little about Cyberverse other than I think Windblade was one of the main characters present in that show. Like I say, that's about it. But look, fancy weapon storage. Continuing a very hit and miss trend with some of the jet figures where they have a weapon or accessory that looks like a flame blast, so they turn it into a flame plume for the jet mode. Which, yeah, is alright, but it's not exactly like it's a permanent solution now, is it? So why don't we just go ahead and get that out of the way. Windblade's alt mode here is best characterized by being predominantly red with black highlights and some blue, which is intended for the robot mode. Don't think I don't know your angle, you sneaky motherfuckers. Also present in this mode, we have articulated VTOL blades. They have a proper name, but I don't care to know them. You can Google that shit. I'll put a link in the description if you're bothered. This jet mode happens to have a really nice profile that I don't think we've seen very often outside of Windblade in this series, so it's nice to get I guess, Windblade again with his profile. Whatever point of discussion I'm trying to raise is crumbling. Please help. Windblade in this mode comes with molded landing gear in the front, which can be put away, but unfortunately, if you can have it displayed in this mode, you're going to want to keep it because... yeah, comes with these mounts in the back that keep the figure propped up in jet mode, but yeah, if you don't have that front landing gear deployed, then it's just going to nosedive all the time. Also, clear plastic on the cockpit area with red detailing painted throughout. That's a thing, I guess. I'm not sure if it's just a perk of transformation or if there's an intended purpose for this, but you can also dip the nose cone. I'm not sure if this is one of those planes that can do that. I'm not even sure if this is a plane. 2 rotor blades, landing gear, clear plastic cockpit, light blue present on the figure. Fuck it. Welcome back, Allspark Power 07 Incinerator. I feel like the most reasonable way to describe Windblade is that she was a fad. Joe Hasbro made an OC with approval from the fans, fell in love with her for a bit, and then discarded her when, I don't know, feminism became a bad thing. I think by far the most interesting thing about Windblade is that over a handful of iterations, she's probably changed the least. So it means every toy has just been striving to achieve a similar sort of thing, and I think this one does it the best. Where Thrilling 30 was hot dog shit, and Titan's Return was a retool of Scourge, and I never got the Cyberverse one, so I can't say anything about that one. This one's just so nice. Feels light without feeling cheap. Very nice colour breakup thanks to the Allspark Blue. She's still got the robot geisha face. Seriously, I think you want to get that checked, love. But it's like, I could never put that Thrilling 31 in a pose like this. I was really hoping she was going to fall over then, because that would have actually been peak comedy. The wife's leaving me and taking the dog because I can't be funny. And for when you want to avoid triggering copyright, she comes with flammable laser sword, with wrists, so that's a fucking biggie in this house. And also, you can make her head lose some weight by making her wield her fan. And in this moment, she has a fairly unique attack triggered by solely wielding the fan as a weapon. If you wish to know more, go online and look up Windblade OnlyFans. There isn't much more for me to say about Windblade. I think she achieves a lot of what she sets out to do quite well, and I'm happy with her. Yeah, sure, there's 1 or 2 instances of drippy QC, but that's a personal thing. That doesn't really bother me. Most importantly, I think the fact that after 9 years, they finally gave us a stable Windblade that's actually fun to handle and good is good enough for me. Oh god, I need to end this on a joke. What's another name for loading up the dishwasher? I can't fucking finish with that. Fucking hell. Rescue bots chase in over 60 seconds. Let's go. If you ever told me that we were gonna get... I'm sorry, if you had told me prior to any leaks of Legacy United that we were going to see rescue bots in Generations, I'd have called you a fool, a delusional fool amongst men. But no, instead that actually happened, and by all accounts, he's actually pretty good. Possessing what has to be hands down one of my favourite police alt modes from Generations in a considerably long time, Chase just more than makes himself a presence in any sort of collection. I think the camera's picking up how this looks fairly well. I don't know, this was what I was on about when I was saying about lighting inconsistencies. I mean, the way it looks to me and the way it looks on the camera, I'm going to say yeah, because this is a dark blue on white with yellow windscreens. That's a felony. Comes with standard light bar detailing, which sadly is not an accessory on a 5mm port, unless it is. I've got your game, you cheeky... No, it is. Really nice detailing down the back of the alt mode to form those vents instead of windows. I don't know what they're called. Exhaust ports coming out the side of the car because sure, why not? The back of the car isn't particularly detailed, but we don't need to talk about that. Let's just talk about this instead. The headlights and grille are really nice features. I quite enjoy the molded suggestion of an Autobot insignia in the middle there. Of course, there is nothing to actually evidence an Autobot insignia there. The wheels remain unpainted, but fortunately, they're not mushroom pegged, so I could not give a solitary shit. That's good enough for me. It is the imposing menace with a figure that everybody owns. See, to me, this looks too much like a buddy cop movie. How about instead he tases him? It's alright, Vibe Swipe. It won't hurt nearly as much as your pride when you piss yourself. After a thundering debut in his alt mode, how does he fare in his robot mode? Well, he's weird as shit. He got some shoulders that are ass thanks to Kibble and where it all meets up. Oh, look at that. The one time it didn't get in the way. Caught on camera in 4K. This isn't 4K, is it? Yeah, by far the biggest thing that lets Chase down is his articulation. Along with the aforementioned shoulders, we also have wrist articulation in the loosest sense of the word. An ankle tilts, enough to make me cringe, which is saying a lot because I post a lot of cringe. But to be fair, this head sculpt is ridiculously fun. Although I would love to know just what these accessories are supposed to be. They're meant to mount in the vehicle mode and on the wrists, but what are they? Are they weapons? Are they supposed to be lights of some sort? Is it something from the show? Because sadly, chat, I will quite happily admit I am too fucking old for rescue bots. By the time that appeared on screen, I had left school. He also comes with this, which I'm more than happy to call as some sort of reference to a previous toy or the show or something. But for me, however, it just so happens to be a very neat callback to that first wave of Legacy in a really fun and gimmicky looking claw. Or we could just remove the claw, as is also an option. But don't worry, you'll see more of that when we get to his inevitable repaint later in the year. All things considered, Chase is fun. This is my first real exposure to anything to do with the character. Granted, I'm not quite sure how, if, where he racks up in the annals of police car themed Transformers, but I don't care. He's pretty fun. Boy, I can't wait to see more rescue bots and when they give them all cool new molds like this, right? Right? Hey, where'd you guys go? Animated Optimus Prime in over 60 seconds, let's go. Are you even trying to debut a new line if you don't include an Optimus Prime? No, and that's why Legacy Evolution is an urban legend. But in all seriousness, if you are gonna go hard on a debut featuring an Optimus Prime, go fucking harder and feature one of the best. By far the biggest tragedy of this man is the fact that the only place to really store his weapons is all visible. I hate it. But talking about the rest of the figure, this is just such an iconic figure to have in hand with such a unique design. First of all, Fire Truck Optimus. We'll be getting to a slightly larger and sexier Fire Truck Optimus later in the year, but this is one of the good ones as well. In direct defiance to the original design, they had to add in an extra set of wheels so that he could actually stay balanced upright. I'm being serious, here's a picture of the animation model. You can see he doesn't have wheels at the front. But on this one, he had to. You can see the windows are painted with this really nice gloss black, and it's got yellow headlights, the grille, the red and black and grey and blue all complement each other really nicely. A light bar that actually is removable on a 5mm post. Painted windows and the silver stripe, which is something not many iterations of Optimus Prime actually get to see fulfilled in their toy, so I'm glad to see it here. Admittedly, from the back, this figure isn't anything spectacular, but I don't care. The rest of him just does such a nice job. I have genuinely no complaints about this Optimus in truck mode. Do you know the only thing that's stranger than this Optimus Prime? The fact that you haven't hit like and subscribe yet. That's it, that's the joke. Thanks for coming. The thing I want to get out of the way with this Optimus Prime straight off the bat is I don't really have any major criticisms of him. Now I've got that out of the way, I can actually just unfilteredly gush a little bit. I feel he captures the cartoonishly superhero look of top-heavy torso but quite muscular build really well. He's probably the best blend we've had yet of show accuracy and the aesthetic mixed with the G1ification in its finest form. He also finally gives us a reasonable rendition of Optimus Prime's famous axe from Animated. The cane from Citizen Kane, as it were. Wait a minute. He comes with a plethora of standard articulation points, including a double-jointed elbow, that end up creating a wealth of posability that just makes him really pop in any pose you try and put him in, without looking awkward. Also, his axe having a blast effect compatible exhaust port is just ludicrously fun. Also, let's just take a second to appreciate just how clean this man's profile actually is. They didn't need to do that, but I'm fucking glad they did. Also, the fact that he has molded detailing inside of the cab, I really appreciate. They didn't need to put any of that in. I'm glad they did. There is more of this internal molded detailing elsewhere in the figure that I forgot to show. Maybe when we get to the inevitable repaint, I'll cover it. And given it was his default position, he comes with a head without the mouth plate. And if you want one with the mouth plate, then I hope you like black. I have no real lasting criticism about this Optimus. They very much put their best foot forward with this one. And he's also an absolute darling because he liked the video and subscribed. And I hope the subliminal messaging is working, otherwise I'm going to have to start putting this on flashbang grenades that I throw out of the screen. What can I say? For Wave 1, he's best in show. Let's talk about someone a bit more interesting. Prime Thundertron in over 60 seconds, let's go. I didn't fuck up the zoom. By far what was probably my least expected figure to get out of any sort of revisitation, Prime Thundertron. Now this guy actually gave rise to an entire subline within Legacy United, but we will not be coming back to that today, because it's not relevant and they're exclusives and shut up. Ignoring this overly distracting weapon storage, let's move on to talk about the rest of the figure. What a fucking crumpled up mess of a lion. I'm not even even meaning this as like a specific critique. It's just strange how you just compress as much of him as humanly possible. And there you go, lion mode. It's been said that he has inspiration taken from Zoids, which honestly you can see, but also, I don't hate. He's got a somewhat articulated mouth. Yeah, he skipped arm day in favour of leg day, and a tail that can never touch below his arsehole. What a fun dude. It's an unfortunate fact of life that they can never seem to quite nail these lion modes in terms of proportionality or articulation. But hey, at least he can aggressively stare ahead. Yeah, that'll send the fear of God into the little shits. And something figure everybody owns. When Thundertron first landed on shelves and in people's collections, I was staggered by the amount of people who were saying that the original was better. For you see, I've never smoked crack out of a shoe. While this figure is not exactly a one-for-one of that original with a darker paint scheme and a fresh head, and what I could easily call as superior kibble management and better articulation, I will admit this one is not perfect. He does have a surprising number of articulation hindrances. He has wrists except for where they'd actually be useful. Oh fuck, I'm gonna get demonetized. His head is relatively... Put that away. His head is relatively limited about where it can actually look. It's got a decent ball joint behind it. There's just a lot of kibble around it. He's intensely wondering what that shoulder be thinking. Tell you what, I am a fan of this new face. It looks refreshingly young compared to the other one. And I believe it was based on one of the Hasbro staff. So that's something. Does that mean all the clean-shaven ones are based on Evan Brooks? In what is perhaps the funniest twist of fate, he has a waist articulation with no room to use it. I'll tell you what, hella clean back profile though. Is that a sword? Yeah, his sole accessory, he comes with a degree of cutlass formed of something. This guy does do more, but I'm not really interested in talking about it right now. I think the other version they did later in the year did a lot of it better, so I'd rather wait until we get to him. But here's a hint. He'll be claiming disability with a fake foot. Very good. Yar, let's be playing Would You Rather. Okay. Would ye rather walk the plank or spend a night on my poop deck? Bro, this is the worst fucking time for the edible to kick in. It's not to say this one's bad with its different head and darker blue colour scheme. I definitely think the one we'll be getting to later in this little series did it a lot better. So for now, let's fuck him off. Beast Wars Tigerhawk in over 60 seconds. Let's go. What the actual fuck is this thing supposed to be? Like, I know what it's supposed to be, but still, just holy fuck. Within the canon of Beast Wars, Tigerhawk is supposed to be an unholy fusion of Airazor and Tigertron, and you can see a lot of that in this figure. It's been said that some of the sculpt work is directly inspired by the Kingdom editions of both of those figures, who I have thought about on this channel at least once. Seriously, why the fuck does it need a wingspan like that? This thing's fucking huge. Anyway, coming back down to the ground, you can just laughably see the difference in the front and back legs. I'll have her home by 9, sir, versus she calls me daddy too. Jesus fuck. The head sculpt is quite cool though. This for some reason reminds me of a really old Power Rangers toy that's locked away in a memory somewhere from when I was about 5 years old. Absolutely no idea why, of course. Damn, this thing is huge. Wait, what are you doing? Oh, no. Bad Tigerhawk. Bad. There is some articulation in this mode, but it's incredibly limited. The head does not move. The back legs can move, but not that it means anything. Most of the weight is held up by the front. So, I mean, unless you just want to just adjust the angle, it doesn't change much. And the front legs have some weird posability, which I can probably get more into in the robot mode, but it's like they've got knees, they've got shoulders, but it's very strange. But I'm going to save that for when we get into the robot. But the only thing is, I want to say just a quick word. By far the most impressive thing about this alternate form for Tigerhawk is how sturdy it actually is. Everything is very securely tabbed in. I have no risk of concern of any of this coming loose. Everything folds and pegs away ridiculously fucking well, to the point that you can't really notice unless you go looking for it. What the ever-loving fuck is going on with his wingspan, Batman? An articulated mouth, because why not? Genuinely surprising and impressive just how sturdy this this alt mode is. Now let's shatter the illusion. What the fuck is this? I know, there's lore. This was like season 3 of Beast Wars. There's a lot of shit going on, but that doesn't answer my question. What the fuck is this? You know, I'm not even just talking about the abject reality of what's standing here in front of me as a concept. I just mean what this actual figure is, down to this wingspan that's taken me so long that I have to pad the runtime of this clip. Like, sure, you articulated it, but not in any real tangible way. He's still stuck with this big back assembly. There's some shit going on here with these guns that I just don't quite understand. And while I think this head sculpt is quite nice, its design is fucking whack. But for me, the most egregious thing about this figure isn't the massive details covering it, or the fact that Tigerhawk is given a hip skirt at the front that looks like it's inside out, when guess what? It isn't. No, in fact, it's the Combiner Wars tier level of engineering on display here. The arms are fine, they get nothing but credit where it's due, once you finagle the tiger head out of the way. The hands do nothing, which is all well and good, until you remember that Tigerhawk is supposed to be a melee weapon wielder with something formed out of his own wings. What a fucking letdown. I give the wrist-mounted gun some props, it looks quite nice, even though the energy it's given me is level 4 loot in an RPG. But for me, the biggest sin of this figure is the legs. See, the legs happen to have a soft ratchet lock about this far out, so if I want to do a splayed leg stance, I have to do it like that. Welcome back, Combiner Wars Menace. Get the fuck out of my house. Mind you, doesn't look too terrible from certain angles. Like this one, I already used this joke. I don't know, when I look back at the leaders released in the Legacy trilogy, I can't think of any that are a lower point than Tigerhawk. Unfortunately, it boils away from any technical argument or legitimate thing that you could hear me saying, oh, I agree with that. It's purely personal opinion, and in my personal opinion, dog water. Like, not long after buying this wave, I was tempted to sell Tigerhawk to raise some funds, maybe do a giveaway, and then I decided, wait, I just had a genius idea. But you're gonna have to wait to see that one day. For now, let's just wrap this up. Shagswipe down here says he's had lots of buds and pussy, but somehow I don't think he meant like this. It's like a fucking chicken-flavoured slush puppy. What's wrong with this guy? If I had to say some nice things about Legacy United Wave 1, it would probably be, this has to be one of my favourite waves. Unless you want to try and get technical with me, you wee shite. There's absolutely no G1 to be seen in this wave at all. So as far as I'm concerned, it gets props for that. I can only sing unbridled praise for 2 of the figures available in this particular wave. All the rest of them have some major limitation, or were superseded by an eventual repaint, or are Tigerhawk by design. But ultimately, when I look back at the debut waves of Siege, Earthrise, Kingdom, this feels probably on par with the Kingdom Wave one. I have no objective commentary here to make. It's just a solid wave to put out front. But fortunately, Legacy United was really fucking good. And I think I'm going to leave it there as I leave you all in anticipation for a prehistoric orgy next week. Like if you liked it, subscribe if you subscribed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.